How's it going, everyone? Paul with Adaptable Survival, and in today's episode, let's take a look at the Etenwolf Air Pump 3. Alright, so in today's video, we will be taking a look at this Etenwolf Air Pump 3. Let's see if I can get that to focus in here. And the name of all transparency, Etenwolf is sponsoring this video, but my number one rule with any kind of sponsorship that I've ever been a part of is my personal opinion is not going to be swayed if you are sponsoring the video. Etenwolf has been really cool with saying, hey, give us your honest opinion, what you think of the air pump, the good, bad, and the ugly. So I just want to start off right off of the bat that they are sponsoring this, because there's a lot of YouTubers out there that do sponsored videos and don't disclose that, and they are getting paid for their reviews. And my channel, I've always said up front that I'm going to be clear and transparent with all of my reviews. Now I'm getting more offers for sponsorships, so that will not impact my opinion on the gear. That is non-negotiable with any company I'm working with. Enough with the rant. Let's get on to talking about the Etenwolf Air Pump 3. Now, I got this air pump, let's see, about 3 weeks ago. So I just been messing around with it around the house, blowing up a couple of air pads and messing around with the light that's on here. And thus far, I do really like this. Now, I will be doing a long-term review later in the season once we get this on a few overnighters, see how it handles the cold, how many days we can get out of it. Thus far, I haven't had to recharge this since I've gotten it. Now, granted, I'm not putting tons and tons of use on it right now. I've probably blown up 5-6 pads. I've ran the light, probably cumulatively maybe a half hour. There are a couple of different light settings which we will dive into here in a second. Size wise, obviously not super big. I mean, this fits in the palm of my hand, but it is square, so it will be a little bit bulky in comparison to some other air pumps on the market. But I do like this light that's on here. So function wise, obviously we have a little D-ring up top here so you can hang it. An interesting thing with this one is there is a deflator. Now, I haven't used that in all honesty, because I really don't, for me that's not a big selling point, because I have a certain process that I go with when I'm deflating my pads. But that is a nifty feature on here. But on the front here, see if I get my big head out the picture, there are 3 buttons here, or actually 3 different locations. Bottom one being the recharge port, but then you'll see at the very top here, see if I can get this in here without blurring out, this is the power button. Now this can be tricky because you're just not going to press this and it's going to be on. What you're going to have to do is hold this for 2 seconds and then that light comes on. And now it's basically unlocked to blow up your air pad, turn on the light. So blowing up the air pad, you're just going to hit this top button for high, for low, and then back off. I'm still messing around with the deflate part of this, but that will be addressed more so in my long-term review of this, not so much this initial look at this. Bottom here, we do have the light. In the bottom, so this is the different light. This goes up to 600 lumens at this highest. We got some strobe. Hopefully I don't give none of you a seizure. And then that's back off. So a couple of different lighting modes. And then obviously that power indicator there with that light being on. So to shut this back off, let's just hold that down again and it's off. All right, so I just got a new pad out here. This is the Helix from REI. Haven't messed around with this pad at all. Obviously worked at REI, I did there, but for this new one I haven't messed around with, haven't blown up yet. I do have the right nozzle on here. After we blow this up, testing, see how long it takes, I will show some of the nozzles and some of the features I do like about that. But let me get my stopwatch back up here. get the inflate port open, get this stationed. 1, 2, 3. We'll be back in a minute. I'm not going to make you watch this. So in about 45 seconds, 43.9, I got this blown up perfectly where I personally would want it. I don't want it super firm. I want a little bit of give, and that's the nice thing with the design of this pad, is you have a lot of give because of the way it's constructed. Let's get in here zoomed up and we'll take a look at some of the nozzles. All right, so that was taking a look at the Etenwolf Air Pump 3. Now, so we're going to take a look at some of the nozzles, and you actually do get 5 different nozzles with this. So this was the larger one that I just used. This is a little bit longer one. Not 100% sure what you would use this one for. I don't have any sleeping pads that I would use that on. You have this rubber one, which I have to play around, especially with this pad, to see if I can get this on this one and just kind of lodge it in there so I don't have to sit there and hold it. But not a deal breaker. This is a little bit bigger one, and this would work perfectly over like the Thermarest. They're plastic caps. You could plug it right on top there, let it air up, and not have to worry about it. Plug that back in there. And I think there is one more. If I can find it in this goodie bag. And it's just a smaller version of the one I just used. Now, the thing that I do like about this pump, and there's a charging cable. And you get this cool little bag with it. So you can store all of this stuff in there, not have to worry about it. You grab the air pump. Now, one of the features, probably the biggest feature that I like about this in comparison to some other pumps that I've used, is how these nozzles attach on here. So I can just lock that on there, and now I can fill up whatever I need to fill up. So on the inflating side, and then on the top side, the deflating side, you also have that interlocking mechanism. Like I said, I haven't used this a ton so far, just blowing up some of the pads I have at home, making sure that there's no holes in them, especially my winter one, because I'm going to get out here, do some winter camping, and don't want to freeze. So doing some maintenance on pads. I've been using this to blow it up. I use the light as well. Let me turn this back on here. That's one thing I do like, that 600 lumen light. Won't strobe you out again. Don't need anyone getting seizures on me. And then I like this locking feature. At first it was kind of a pain trying to figure that out, because you know, like any other guy, I'm just trying to do it without reading the instructions. But once you figure out how to use that function, it's no problem. And I do like that locking feature really well. If I had to say one thing I don't necessarily like about this, is just the bulk of it, because it's just a big brick. But you throw this in your hospital pouch, your ditty bag, it's kind of negligible. More of just a minor convenience compared to some of the other air pumps I've been messing around with, but lots and lots of features that I like. Plus that little hook where I can hang it. So if I wanted to read at night, I don't have to use my headlamp. I can just hang this, turn this on, read, do whatever I need to around camp. Have the recharging ability. So I've been messing around with some solar panels to bring backpacking. So we'll see some of that stuff this winter. But I want to give a shout out to Etenwolf for sponsoring today's video. Like I said, that impacts my opinion on the gear of any sponsored video, not one bit. That is my hard rule with any company that contacts me with sponsorships or sponsoring a video, is I'm going to give my honest feedback on the product. And if they don't like that, then maybe this isn't the right sponsorship. But so far, Etenwolf has been super cool about that. They said, hey, try it out, give us your honest thoughts. That's all we ask for. And then they are willing to sponsor the video. So So far, I've been really digging this in the couple of weeks I've been messing around with it. I'm gonna use it when I go hunting next week, as well as some overnighters coming up. So we'll see how this does, especially wintertime, because I'm always curious to see how electronics do in the wintertime, how long the batteries hold up, things like that. Leave me a comment section down below what air pumps you've been using, what kind of sleep gear you've been using. I have a few new pieces coming in. Obviously, we've seen the pad here, got this air pump, have another air pump that I'm messing around with. So got a lot of things moving around as we're gearing up for some cold weather camping. Do me a favor, hit like, share, and subscribe. That gets more eyes on the community that we're building here. Helps bring them in so we can learn together and grow together. As always, this has been Paul with Adaptable Survival. Adapt your mind, your body, and your gear.